Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the closing bell here at MarketStream.live. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. Here to wrap up another record-setting day. Another day, another new high. For all the major averages right now, if you take a look at the Dow Jones, closed up at 20,412, up 0.7%. NASDAQ closed up at 5764, up 0.5%. And the S&P 500 did close up 0.5% at 2,328 and a quarter. Also, taking a look at the Russell 2000, finished up 3.5 points at 1,392. So again, records being set across the board, but this did come on lower than average volume, ever so slightly. New York traded 799 million versus an average of 849 million. And you had the NASDAQ just off its averages. Its average is around 1.84 billion. Today it was at 1.81 billion. So we then take a look at advancers and decliners. We had New York, basically the advancers leading the decliners, as well as NASDAQ. Basically on a 1.5 to 1 advancers to decliners. And you had new highs outpacing new lows both on New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ by a notable amount. Now, what were the catalysts? President Trump said there's upcoming tax-related announcement that's going to come out on Tuesday, and it is, in his words, a phenomenal tax reform plan. Okay, so we don't know what it is. It's going to be coming on Thursday, but obviously investors liked it. Basically, it's showing that he is following through again with all of his campaign promises by putting some sort of executive order or action out to the public, and we'll have to wait and see. But financials loved it. They were up 1.1%. Basically, with all these pro-growth promises via the Trump administration, off of that campaign promises that he put out there, these sectors like financials, XLF up 1.1%. Industrials up 1.0%. We talked about it this morning when we saw steel moving in Asia as well as in Europe. Well, that continued here in the United States. And you had Caterpillar, an industrial name that came out up 219 at 98.50, rallied around a report from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which basically suggested that the proposed barrier along the U.S.-Mexico border may cost more than what it was originally estimated. So that's going to be a benefit to their equipment needs. And so that could be a benefit for CAT. The technology sector continued to show leadership, was lagging slightly behind the financials as well as the industrials, up 0.7%. You had Apple up another strong day at 133.29, up $1.17. It's added about 10% since recording record revenues and iPhone sales on July 31st. So it's an enormous move in 2 weeks on one of the largest cap stock in the indices. Energy, basically unchanged as a sector, but you continue to see that the crude markets are under pressure. Down by about 1.7% at 52.95. There still continues to be an uptick in production. And with crude over $50, it makes sense, especially here in the U.S. Those rig counts and production numbers keep coming up. And that overshadowed the release from the OPEC nations, which showed that there is compliance so far to last year's agreed upon production cuts. So basically, this is something that while everyone thought there would be pressure if they did adhere to the production cuts, well, U.S. is back online with $50 oil and getting possibly more expensive, and 54 really being that threshold to the upside. Once that's broken, we could see that the bulls could get control, but they just have not been able to do it so far in 2017. The only other sector that was weaker than energy, which basically as a group finished flat but crude down in the negative territory, was telecom. We had talked about that and discussed it this morning. IYZ, which is the telecom ETF, down 1.3%. There's been heavy losses. Verizon was the most notable one because they came out with headlines today saying that they are going to compete with their competitors, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, with their unlimited data plans. Verizon was down 43 cents at 48.55. They're also questioning where is the growth going to come from with Verizon now that they are offering these unlimited plans. Where is the next target acquisition, especially since the Yahoo deal has not come to fruition yet? AT&T was down in sympathy, down about 73 cents. And you continue to see T-Mobile down as well. We're going to watch this volatility that's now arising in this uber competitive telecommunications space. And we're also going to see whether or not AT&T's downtick was also partially because of its ongoing dispute with the Communications Workers of America. That could actually put a little bit of asterisk on any upside potential that AT&T has. That's ticker symbol T. Finally, taking a look at the Treasury markets, they finished the day in the red, leaving the 10-year note with its fourth consecutive loss. The benchmark 10-year finished the day 2 basis points higher at 2.43%, so prices are coming off. We're going to see if those dollars actually start to come to fruition in the securities markets. But again, I think it's a little bit tepid because, hey, we also saw that the fear index, the VIX, if you take a look at the VIX futures, if you have access to those in your account, the VIX futures basically closed on almost an all-time low. The Fed futures finished the day at 1140, and that's the lowest level that I've ever seen on the VIX futures. Someone may have seen a print or something of that nature off of an expiration, but I have not seen it settle on a normal trading day at this level. There's a whole lot of complacency in this market, folks, so it's very difficult to see how you're going to buy into this rally. And for those of you that are bears, how you're selling into it. It's just a difficult time right now, and this is where you got to be disciplined and keep your powder dry. And stay tuned to here at MarketStream.live. We will be back at 8:30 tomorrow morning, where we will take a look at all the action in Asia, see if that's going to tip the hat a little bit on where the next market move is going to be. Be there here at MarketStream.live. Thank you.